Chapter 6. Tuition and Doubt. The acceptance email arrived at 6:42 a.m. Winston was already awake. He had been up since 5, sitting at the kitchen table with a mug of tea gone cold, scrolling through his phone without reading anything. When the notification banner appeared, his breath stalled. Subject: Congratulations. Chesapeake Culinary Institute Fall Admission. He stared at it for a full 30 seconds before opening it. The message was formal but warm. He had been accepted into the fall cohort at Chesapeake Culinary Institute. The email outlined the program structure: Year 1 Foundations in Knife Skills, Classical French Techniques, Baking Science, Global Cuisines, Sanitation Certification, and Restaurant Simulation Labs modeled after elite programs like the Culinary Institute of America and Le Cordon Bleu. It was everything he had researched, everything he had quietly hoped for. He read the line twice. We look forward to welcoming you into a rigorous and transformative culinary education. Transformative. His chest tightened, not from grief this time, but from anticipation. Then he scrolled down. Estimated annual tuition, $38,500. Fees and equipment, $6,200. Uniforms, knife kit, materials, $3,400. He blinked. $48,000 for 1 year. The tea in his cup tasted metallic. He didn't tell his parents immediately. He folded the laptop shut and sat there, calculating silently. He had some savings. Money from summer internships at tech firms, careful budgeting during freshman and sophomore year. He had about $9,000 set aside. That wouldn't even cover the equipment. He reopened the laptop and began clicking through financial aid links: federal loans, private loans, merit scholarships, need-based grants, payment plans. The words blurred together. He filled out forms with mechanical focus: tax documents, FAFSA updates, personal statements. Each page asked variations of the same question: how will you pay? He didn't have a clean answer. Later that evening, he sat with his parents at the kitchen table. I got in, he said. His mother's face lit up immediately. That's good, yes? His father nodded slowly. That is good. Winston hesitated. It's expensive. How expensive? His father asked. Winston slid the printed sheet across the table. His father read it carefully, lips pressed thin. His mother covered her mouth. That's more than your first school, she said quietly. Yeah. Silence settled. His father leaned back in his chair. We will help. No, Winston said quickly. His father's eyes sharpened. We will help. You already did, Winston insisted. FD was manageable. This is different. His father's pride flickered across his face. You are our son, he said firmly. We invest in our children. Andre... Winston started, then stopped. The room shifted. Andre had always insisted on paying his own way after enlisting. He'd refused help even when offered. Winston looked at his hands. I don't want you to stretch yourselves thin, he said. Not after everything. His mother reached across the table and squeezed his fingers. Let us decide what we can do, she said gently. Pride and practicality tangled in his chest. He wanted to accept their help. He didn't want to need it. The following week, Winston visited Chesapeake Culinary Institute in person. The building sat in Northeast D.C., modern glass and brick blending into the industrial neighborhood. Inside, stainless steel counters gleamed under bright lights. The air smelled faintly of yeast and roasted garlic. Students moved quickly through hallways in white chef coats, knives tucked safely in roll bags, clipboards under their arms. He felt something stir inside him again. Purpose. A tour guide led him through the facilities. pastry labs with marble countertops, butchery stations with hanging cuts of meat, demonstration kitchens designed like amphitheaters. Our Year 1 curriculum focuses on discipline, the guide explained. Technique before creativity, fundamentals before flair. Winston nodded. He liked that. In one classroom, a chef instructor barked corrections over the sound of chopping knives. Uniform cuts, the instructor demanded. Precision is respect. The phrase struck him. Precision is respect. Not just for food, but for craft. As the tour ended, Winston lingered near the admissions office. A financial aid counselor named Ms. Hernandez greeted him with a professional smile. Congratulations, she said. Let's talk numbers. He appreciated her directness. They sat in a small office surrounded by pamphlets and charts. You qualify for some need-based aid, she explained, tapping at her keyboard. And there's a partial merit scholarship for students with strong academic backgrounds. Even if my background is computer science? He asked. She smiled slightly. Strong discipline translates. The scholarship would cover $8,000. It helped. But the gap remained large. You can apply for federal loans, she continued, and we offer structured payment plans for the remainder. He stared at the numbers again. Loans meant debt. Debt meant years of repayment. He had always imagined entering the workforce at 22 with a tech salary, paying things off quickly. This was different. This was risk. Most of our students work part-time, Ms. Hernandez added. Restaurant shifts, catering, cafes. Winston nodded slowly. I can do that. As he left the building, the cold air hit his face sharply. He stood on the sidewalk for several minutes, staring up at the glass facade. This was the door. But doors did not open for free. That night he updated his resume, removed internship bullet points about software development, added culinary experiences, family cooking, independent study, community Thanksgiving coordination. It felt strange, like editing his own identity. He applied to every restaurant within a 5-mile radius, Caribbean cafes, upscale bistros, neighborhood diners. Within a week, he landed a part-time prep cook position at a small Caribbean spot on U Street. The pay wasn't glamorous. The hours were long, but the kitchen smelled like home. His first shift humbled him immediately. Faster, the head cook said as Winston chopped bell peppers. Uniform. He adjusted. The rhythm was different from home cooking, louder, harsher, more urgent. Tickets printed rapidly. Orders flew across the counter. He burned his forearm on a hot pan the second night. Didn't complain. Went back to chopping. By the end of the week, his hands ached. But something else had grown steadier. He was earning his place, earning his tuition 1 hour at a time. Late one evening, after returning from a shift, Winston sat at the kitchen table with his father. I got the scholarship, he said. His father nodded approvingly. And I'm working part-time. That is good. I'll still need loans. His father leaned forward. Debt is not shame, he said firmly. Debt for education is investment. Winston studied him. You ever regret coming here? He asked suddenly. To America? His father clarified. Winston nodded. His father sat back. It was hard, he admitted. We left everything we knew. We started over. Why? For opportunity, his father said simply. And for you and Andre. The words settled heavily, starting over. Andre had started over when he enlisted. His parents had started over when they immigrated. Maybe this was his version. Still, doubt crept in late at night. When he lay in bed calculating loan interest in his head. When he imagined explaining his career shift to distant relatives. When he wondered if grief had distorted his judgment. Was this passion or escape? One evening, as he cleaned the kitchen after closing at the cafe, the head cook approached him. "You thinking about culinary school?" the man asked casually. Winston nodded. "Why?" "Because I feel something when I cook," Winston said honestly. The cook studied him. "That feeling won't pay rent," he said bluntly. "Skill will." Winston absorbed that. "Then I'll build skill." The cook nodded once. "Good answer." By midsummer, Winston had pieced together the plan. Scholarship, savings, federal loans, part-time income, small contribution from his parents despite his protests. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't comfortable, but it was possible. On the night he signed the final enrollment paperwork, he sat alone in the kitchen again. He stared at the signature line before writing his name. Winston Sinclair. It felt like stepping off solid ground. He expected fear to overwhelm him. Instead, it coexisted with something else. Conviction. He had dropped the code. He had faced the numbers. He had chosen the risk. Pride and practicality had argued for months. Now they sat side by side. He closed the folder and exhaled slowly. Debt would follow him. Doubt would follow him. But so would discipline. So would heat. And for the first time since Andre's death, Winston felt not just like he was surviving, but like he was investing in who he was becoming.